So today we're going to be getting some really important questions answered in regards to matchmaking by the source. We have a Brawl Stars community manager in the house, Dani, helping us out in today's video, answering a lot of the hot topics in the community revolving around matchmaking. So hope you guys are all pumped up. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go. Okay, everybody, so we have Dani on the line, Supercell community manager for Brawl Stars. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm great, and thank you for having me, Ray.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So we're going to get straight away into matchmaking. You guys have a lot of questions. So we're going to be starting off with a big dog, and that is, why do we get into those matches and there's like this one person that is really low in trophies? For example, the whole entire party's at 500. You have one person that's at like 100 or 50. Why does that happen?
So I will explain why that happens, and I will explain why we made the decision of having it work like that. When you are playing with a friend that has a very small amount of trophies, the matchmaking ignores that person and it only focuses on the highest trophy player in that group. So for example, if you are playing with a friend, as you said, that has 100 trophies with a brawler, and you have like 500, then the matchmaking will use this 500 trophy. Then, why we made the decision to have the matchmaking work like that? It's because, imagine like you are trying to bring a friend to the game, and this friend, like, of course, is his first game, so of course they don't have like enough trophies. Actually, Frank was suggesting like we should prevent players from playing together if they have like a very different numbers of trophies, or there's a very huge difference basically.
Yeah.
But it will be a really bad experience for those friends, for those people that want to bring people to play Brawl together. Just imagine that you invite your friend and you can't play with him or her until they get the same number of trophies as you. So you basically have to wait like 6 months or even more to play with your friend.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And we are assuming friends playing together, they have advantage than even like if the trophies are kind of lower.
Yeah,
so yeah,
more than likely they might be like playing in the same room, sitting down together. They don't need that third-party app to talk with each other, so they have a leg up in that way too.
True.
So.
And then, but of course, like the problem is still for this third member that has nothing to do with that. But that, but that we believe, we consider a problem, of course, but we believe that is an outlier. It's not a case that happens like 90% of the matches or anything. And also, it gives kind of like a challenge, because we also believe that the matchmaking, it balances itself by your winning and losing rate. Because like if you are losing too much, maybe you reach your limit. You are not like, you can't go beyond that, and that's what matchmaking does. It puts you where you should be with the players you should be playing.
Yeah.
So if you start losing a lot, maybe like you pass your limit or something like that, and then you lose enough matches until you reach to the point where you start winning again. Okay,
so that's honestly good input, because I feel like that's probably like the biggest thing that everyone is asking for, and I'm sure everyone has experienced that, where you get into that group and there's one really low trophy player. But I like the challenge as well. I think that's really cool.
And just like as I said, we do consider that a problem, because if the third member is just there, he doesn't have an option to choose if he wants to play with those two guys. So we did added the looking for a group, which we can look for. If you don't have like friends, you can look for a group and find a group, and then you can decide together. You can check their trophies beforehand. You can check if they're selecting Mortis in Brawl Ball. But yeah, so we are like giving the players more options to not find this scenario.
Yeah, that's really good. That the new addition. I have a few questions about that a little bit later on in the video as well. But great input. So the second question that I have is, what is all taken into consideration surrounding like matchmaking? Like, is it total trophies plus something else?
So mainly is a brawler trophy. However, we do also consider it total trophy. I don't know, you have 250 trophies. you will be being matched with another players that have 250 trophies, but inside that bracket. So
Okay.
if you have like from 1,000 to 3,000 trophies, and a Shelly from 200 with 250 trophies, we will find players only inside that range.
Gotcha. Then I would say another big question is, why don't you take like power level into consideration? Like sometimes people will be power level 1 and then going with maxed out players.
True. It makes sense, and of course, like if you are aiming for a perfect balanced match, they will all have like the same power level. However, we believe that the number of trophies kinda follow your power level, because, for example, if you have 10k trophies, total trophies, probably you have a lot of brawlers with power level 8 or 7. So because you invested a lot, you play a lot.
Yeah.
So it kind of follows the number of trophies you have. But also, we can't put players with different skill level. Like we can't balance skill, because that's very subjective. And there are players that even if they have like power level 7, then they can beat players with power level 10 because they're more skillful.
Gotcha.
And then that's the same thing I said before, where if you keep losing because of the power level, eventually you will get more power, and then you will go further. But if power level is not the thing that is blocking you, we will be able to move forward, because you are fighting power level 10 and players with more trophies. So it's something that we can't balance, how skillful a player is. Of course, like we can change those numbers and tweak and try to adjust as much as we can. But at the end of the day, we can't put a number on how skillful a person is.
Yeah, very true. And I feel like when it's becoming a problem with the power level, it's like, again, a huge outlier. Like it's very rare where you hop into a match and there's like a power level 2 up against like a power level 8. Like, so I feel like that's kind of like not as big of a problem as the top one, but, or the first question that I had. But then I'd like to move on to more of a problem that happens with people who are like in the pro hemisphere, where it takes really, really long time to head into matchmaking. How does that all work, and why does it take so much longer? And is there a way to like reduce that in the future?
Yeah, that's a very good point, and that's the actually balance. We do balance like time and accuracy, because if you want like a perfect balanced match, it will take ages to find like the exactly comb that will be the exact same of power level, trophies, overall trophies. It's better for you to find matches faster rather than have a perfect accurate match. Now, for those high level players, of course we don't want to match them with players that are not as good. And the reason it takes time is because it's trying to find matches that are balanced. So it is a problem that we have, like, as the better you play, the longer the matchmaking will be, because it will try to find those other very good players. And of course there are not as many as casual players or players that don't play so well.
Yeah, very true. Then I kind of wanted to bring up like a notion that I've heard before in the community, and that is, does it ever like get to a certain point, like say you're waiting in matchmaking for like 10 minutes, is there like a cap where it's like, okay, you've waited too long, we're gonna make matchmaking a little bit less accurate, like trophy wise, just so you can get into the game, so you're not waiting around as long? Is that a thing in the game, or is that just kind of like something that people have like a strong theory about?
Yeah, it is. The longer you are in the queue, the wider is the range of matches you can find. So yeah, so eventually we'll find someone that doesn't have enough trophies. But of course, like if you are looking for, I don't know, 3 minutes, and then someone's queue and it's a perfect match, then this group will be matched against you. But of course, if you can't find anyone, then you will start like widening the range, and then you'll probably find someone with less trophies, and then they will probably complain on Twitter that they find someone really strong. But of course,
it's a vicious cycle.
yeah. But of course, it's an outlier. It shouldn't happen that often.
Okay, gotcha. And then I'd kind of want to move into the new finding a team function that you guys added in the last update, which is stellar. Love the concept. It's freaking amazing. But how does that all work? So when you queue up into finding a team, do you get paired up with randoms, or do you find people who are already pre-made, like trying to find you as their teammate as well?
You can only find people that also press the button.
Okay.
But they could be like, it could be like one player and a friend, and they are looking for a third person with this feature. And if you are this person that is also looking for a group, you'll be matched together. And it uses overall trophies. It doesn't use brawler trophy. Then the looking for a group, it uses overall trophy. Yeah.
Okay, so the way it works is it basically just like a more accurate matchmaking. So like it really specifically finds people that are at your trophy range.
Yeah, it's since it looks at overall trophies, it's and it works at the same logic as matchmaking. Like the longer you wait, the wider will be the range.
Okay.
So yeah, so it usually starts like exactly at the same number of trophies you have, and then it starts widening until you find like a group.
Gotcha.
So eventually, like if you are looking for a group for like 10 minutes, maybe you find someone that doesn't have the a similar number of trophies than you have.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then just one final thing about the new finding a team is I've heard people kind of complaining or talking about how long it takes. Is there like ways to improve that, or is it just because it's early on and people aren't using it as much?
Yeah, the reason that it takes time is because people are not using it as much, which is a problem because it's like a cycle, because they are complaining that people are not using and they don't use as well, but that actually makes the problem worse. So we are thinking of some ways to improve that. I don't know, maybe adding a star token there to force people to use, or something like that. But then we don't want also to make people just play for the star token, which was the problem with some game modes, that people just go there for a random match and they just play horribly just to get the star token. And yeah, so yeah, we have to think about, but we do understand that it needs some improvement.
Yeah, it's still in its early stages, but the concept is amazing. I love it. One of my favorite additions in the last update for sure. Yeah, but then I have one more final question for you, and that is this concept that people use maybe a little bit higher up in trophies, where they're always hitting exit when they're in matchmaking, and then they hit play again in the different function. Does that do anything? I kind of want to clear the waters instead of just hitting play again. Does that have any purpose?
So wait, is the question that they use the look for group, they have a group, but they exit instead of play again?
Yeah, exactly. Does that do anything?
No, it doesn't, and it's a very funny phenomenon, because I've been experienced that myself. But we think it's because sometimes they want to say something, just like well played, and then we even like discuss about that when we discuss the possibility of sending some message after the match ends, like a thumbs up or thumbs down or change brawler,
like while you're waiting in the party or whatever. Yeah.
But I don't know why they do that as well.
yeah, it's funny because I come across that same problem, and I think I heard someone mention that on one of our trips. It might have been Frank, saying it literally does nothing. So ever since then, I've been trying to like spread the word, saying just hit play again.
Yeah. One thing though, I haven't explained that, but I think it's really interesting to know that if you are playing with a friend or you are using the look for group, you are being matched with players that have more trophies than you, because like we consider that if you're playing with a friend or someone that you can decide which brawler are you going to take or decide a strategy beforehand, you have an advantage. So for example, so it's 8% more trophies than you. So if you have like 100, then you'll find players with 108, something like that, just to be
okay. Dang. See, I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, but one thing though is that if you're playing with randoms without the looking for group feature, and you find a very good group, if you play again, then you have kind of an advantage, because they play well together and they are not in the same matchmaking rule. So there is a little exploit, but then of course you have to try to find a good random group anyway. Yeah, and that's only if you are looking only if you are grouped with one more person. If you are grouped with two more friends, then it's the matchmaking goes even higher. Like you're trying to find even more skillful people against you, or
so
if they are in the same, or if they are in the same situation, if they are in a group as well, then you have like the same number of trophies.
Okay, gotcha. See, that's all interesting. I feel like people don't necessarily know about that, so it's cool to kind of clear the air on that.
And one last thing, I just want to say that we also think there is a psychological level to this discussion, because you will never see people complaining when they win. It's mostly when they lose. And of course the complaint comes from frustration and trying to vent. So it's we believe that's easier to blame something else than yourself, which is, I think, is very deep. And I have this myself when I'm playing and I lose. I always look at my teammates and I think they messed it up. But sometimes it's me. Like if you really close,
same
take a
here.
close look,
Yeah. I feel like no one likes to lose, and
yeah.
Whenever someone does lose, I feel like it's natural to try to find some sort of excuse to make it less of a hit on yourself, you know.
But this is just to explain that we do understand that it frustrates people, and we do consider their feedback, and of course every problem we find with matchmaking we will try to address. But I think we are in a very good spot, and of course no game will have ever the perfect matchmaking.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like it's come lengths and bounds better since, say, a few months ago. So I think we're definitely in good hands with Dani, Ryan, and the rest of the team, for sure.
Thank you.
But yeah, awesome. Hopefully you guys all benefited from this. Hopefully some of the questions that have been floating around through the Brawl Stars community surrounding matchmaking, I know it's kind of a hot topic, have been answered today. So Dani, thank you once again for taking the time out of your day to come on here and continuing with this series. It's really, really informative. I've been enjoying them so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys had a few questions answered in today's video revolving around matchmaking. Huge shout out to Dani for coming on the channel, helping out, answering those really heated topics revolving around matchmaking for today's video. It was really, really cool of him to do that. So I definitely learned a thing or two. Hopefully you guys did as well. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to slap a like on it. Really appreciate that. And with that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.